Greetings and welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel, depending on which one applies to you. So no signature greeting this time around, as I want to make this video as quickly as I possibly can. So today I'll be looking at the topic called change versus growth, as it is on the title of this video. So I'll jump straight to it, starting with the introduction of these two terms. So change is to make something different or to alter it, and then growth on the other end is a gradual development in something. And why change versus growth? Well, in addition to me covering this topic as the next one that I feel strongly about, as I've explained in my previous video, the second reason, and which is the bigger reason in this, is that I've noticed that a lot of us tend to mix up the two, even though we tend to use them interchangeably and not know which one to apply where and which one to expect where. And hence why I decided to cover this topic of change versus growth. So in terms of explaining the two, I'll start off with the first one, which is simpler, growth. So these two topics are actually in three stages, even though it's just two terms, but they're in three stages. First and foremost, we have the first one, which is growth, which is automatic growth that you get, you don't have to work for, as it is with our growth hormones that most of us are not even aware of, but we just see ourselves growing on a daily basis. And then secondly, you have change. Change is not automatic. You need to be intentional about it for you to attain its results thereof. And then its results thereof is the second part of growth, which will have came as a result of the application of change. So as I've indicated, the first one is growth, not so automatic, automatic rather. It's an automatic one. You don't have to work for it, you don't have to do anything, you just find yourself growing. Like for example, a baby that's 1 year old, today in 5 years time, they will be 6 years, they will be able to do things which they were not able to do back when they were just a year old. That is growth which came automatically. But then with growth that comes automatically, it has a limit. It's like a free trial that you subscribe to, and then they give you maybe 15 days or 30 days free trial, and then after it expires, then you need to start paying. So it's the same thing with automatic growth. It gets to a point where now it reaches a limit. For example, if you wanna, with our physical growth, our muscular growth reaches a point where it's exhausted, or we can't grow our muscles beyond that point. And then in that regard, now we need to start imploring change to how you used to do things, of which in this case your change will be now going to the gym, working out for you to build more muscles on top of the ones that were brought up by the automatic growth, of which now leads us to the second step, which is change. So like I said, change is not automatic. Change is something which you need to orchestrate carefully and execute accordingly for you to get the results. And sometimes change can be motivated by external factors. Maybe you saw someone doing well and then you get motivated, but for you to see the benefits of change, you need to make a decisive personal decision or have a personal conviction that now I want to start working towards change. It needs to be from within for you to start seeing that change, because it's not automatic. And after that change has been realized and you have worked on the change, and now you see there's a results, of which now we go back to call them the second part of growth, which did not come automatic, but rather it came as a result of the change that you brought upon your life. So the easiest one between these two to attain, as I said, anything which is automatic is always easier. So the first part of growth is automatic. You don't have to work for anything, it comes easy. And then the second part, which is change, it's the one that's difficult, and it's the one that's more beneficial. As we know, there's a saying that goes like, if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. That's the growth part. That's the free trial growth part. Then it goes on to say, but if you do what is hard, and then your life will be easy. So for your life to have more benefits between these two, it means that you need to be looking at change. And the example that I can give on that is in terms of building a house from scratch and renovating it. with building a house from scratch, because you already have a plan laid out, you just follow it through. It's a bit easier as compared to renovating it. When you have to renovate it, it's always a bit of a challenge, because you need to know how to go about certain angles, because it's like now you are altering something on top of something which is already existing, and hence why in that case it will be a bit difficult to renovate. The other example that I can give is that with the first part of growth is like preventing. When you prevent, as we know, they say prevention is better than cure. That's the automatic one. It's easier to prevent. But now when you have to cure, that's when now you need to bring in the element of change. And then after you have managed to successfully cure whatever it is that needed to be cured, and then now you start seeing the second part of growth, which came by as a result of the change that you have applied. So that's the difference between the two, because I often hear people saying that no, someone is gonna change, just give him a year or two. And that's not the case. Change does not happen automatically, and people rarely change, especially if it's something which was maybe a bad habit, being late, or having a bad habit of lying now and again. For you to be able to change in a year or 2 years time, you need to apply change. You cannot wait on growth to happen automatically, because if you wait on growth to happen automatically, rather, the only thing that it's going to do is that you'll end up getting disappointed. And the interesting thing about this topic, change versus growth, is that whatever it is that you were not intentional about changing, if it's a bad habit, then it will only grow in the opposite direction, of which now the bad habit will grow to even be an even more bigger bad habit in that instance. So that's the difference between the two. And the one, like I said, which is more beneficial is the change, which now leads to the second part of growth, which was not automatic. Because the first part of growth, which is automatic in terms of our growth hormones, happens within the cycle of our comfort zone. Then once now you start imploring change, and then now you've stepped out of the comfort zone, and as we know, they say that growth happens outside the comfort zone, rather. So that's the message that I had for today. As I said, I don't want to make this video so long. I hope it will help someone to identify what area of their lives simply needs to await automatic growth, and which needs an attention of change for things to turn out differently for them, especially on a personal level, and especially with the relationships. Because you find that someone is in a relationship with someone, and they have a bad habit, and all they are relying on is that this person is going to change. No, let me just give him a couple of years, and then he's going to change. Whereas that's not the case. The person is not going to change. If he had this particular thing which you was bad or you disliked about him, in 2 years time it's still going to be the same thing, unless he internalizes it that no, I want to change on this one particular aspect. So that's it for now. Hope this video was very short, and thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in my next upload. Class dismissed.